KTIB broadcasting live from the Southland Mall in Houma, Louisiana with Houma Live. This afternoon we have our guest, Mr. Mike Starr, the owner of KTIB Radio. And Mr. Starr, how are you doing this evening?
Alfred, I'm pleased to be with you today.
Thank you. We appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon. We're going to be starting a brand new program November 1st, Houma Live, broadcasting from the Southland Mall. And we wanted to find out what was the thought pattern in putting this program together.
The thought pattern was that KTIB has a heritage of local service in this community, in this region, and we wanted to make sure that we extended the coverage to the entire region. And so we are going to do localized coverage as much as we can in parts of the region, and that is why we're doing the live show in Houma.
Excellent. Is there a big draw in the city of Houma right now for KTIB?
I think that there is a big draw for discussion of public issues. I don't know that there's a big draw for KTIB per se, but KTIB has always had recognition in the area. And I think for excellence in the pursuit of community service. And that's what we hope to continue and enhance that tradition with this program.
For what I understand, KTIB has been having the morning show dialogue for quite some time on in the area, and it's been noted as being the only talk show in the region with live talk. Hopefully, I think that the Houma Live would fall in that same suit, but more specifically for those folks in the city of the city of Houma as well as Terrebonne Parish.
I would agree with that. I think that there are localized issues in Houma that are not germane to Thibodaux or other parts of it, and there are issues in Terrebonne Parish that don't exist in Lafourche Parish. And so the idea is, I think the words are micro and macro, and micro being a more intense look at a specific problem in a local area as opposed to an overview of a problem like tax revenue in the state. Well, that's a big, broad issue now. What is the condition of street repair in Houma, and what are the issues that Houma's dealing with?
Well, I've noticed the two peoples are quite different from Houma and Thibodaux, and I think I agree with you totally with the issues being different. Houma's folks are very laid back, but it's the city issues that they deal with, I think, are more advanced than the city issues dealing right now with Thibodaux, I guess, because of the size difference.
Yeah, that's precisely right. I mean, for years there's been a pattern, I think, in Thibodaux of maybe controlled growth. And in Houma, it's more explosive growth. Now, anytime you do that, you put demands on the infrastructure in the community that are issues maybe that are not being faced because that reality is not the same in Thibodaux. So the issues are different.
Well, I've noticed also in Houma that the city is considering expanding the city limits down Martin Luther King Boulevard to include the strip along where Home Depot and Walmart and the various stores are. And I also understand that the city police department is in the process of enlarging the police department to compensate for the addition to the city limits. I mean, that's a big situation, and I'm sure a lot of folks at Houma need to know what's going on. With growth, there's a lot of things that come along with growth. So I think the program is an excellent idea. So what do you see as far as some type of guest, the type of guest that would be on Houma Live?
Well, I think you have topical issues that pertain to events that are on the hot burner, on the front burner, and there are things that are instant news that come up, and then you have the more longer term issues that the community has to look at. Issues like education in the schools, and what are we going to do about young people and drugs? What are we going to do about economic development in an area? Those kinds of things, I think, are broader issues that the public needs to talk about before decisions are made.
I was looking at one of the problems with the growth, and you had mentioned with kids being on drugs. One of the organizations in Houma named People Against Crack, and I think that folks need to know that with the growth, there are some negative things that go along with it. But if we talk about it ahead of time, educate the public, we may be able to curtail some of these problems before they actually happen. But I think that through the broadcast, I think y'all may be hitting the nail on the head to let the folks know what's going on in their community and what they could do to stop some potential problems.
Yeah, it's not KTIB's role to be an advocate for any particular position or point of view, but what we hope to be is a public forum for discussion of important issues to help educate the public so the level of public awareness is increased to the point where informed decisions can be made about important questions.
That's excellent. I think that part of the problem we have in communities in general is that our folks don't have enough knowledge to make those decisions. And sometimes we go to the ballot with the eeny, meeny, miny, moe syndrome of, well, I'll make this decision based on a last-minute toss of a coin versus an intelligent decision. I think this will be an excellent opportunity to give the public that chance. One other thing, Mr. Starr, who is Mike Starr?
Well, an older man, getting to be an older man anyway, and I originally was a lawyer, went to law school, and got involved in broadcast after being drafted into the service during the Vietnam War, and deciding that after that experience that law was just not exciting enough, and radio has been more than exciting enough. So I've enjoyed that experience very much.
And what brought you to the Houma Thibodeau area?
Well, actually, I've been living in the state of Louisiana since about 1968, and have been operating broadcast companies out of this area for almost 32 years now.
Okay, before we go to our next break, we'd like to thank Mr. Starr for being with us on this morning. This is Al Carter from Houma Live from the Southland Mall, KTIB Radio.
Al, thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
You're welcome, sir.
Sit back and relax. It's Houma Live, hosted by Al Carter. Sit back and relax. It's Houma Live, hosted by Al Carter.
Welcome to the award-winning Al Carter Live show, broadcasted live Monday through Friday. Al Carter Live focuses on topics and issues near and dear to the heart of our listeners in the entire South and East Louisiana region. Human interest, local events, current news, and even hot topics to discuss right here. If you have any questions or comments, give us a call in historic KTIB studios. That number is 985-447-6409. 985-447-6409. That's Sit back and relax. It's caught a lot. You know, sometimes things run through my mind, and people are like, why are you laughing? And I just can't. Some things you can't share at that point.
Right.
But things will just run through my mind, and that's why I maintain the positive versus the negative. That's like William. When William talks about the weather, he talks about a 20% chance of rain. I talk about an 80% chance of clear.
And a 40% chance that static electricity will screw up my wig. So,
I saw a show last night that talked about lightning killing people.
okay, wow.
I won't get into that.
Nah, we don't want to hear about all that.
We're
But
talking about that. It was a strange show, but you talked static electricity. So,
yeah.
anyway, my guest this afternoon. Two good friends of mine who hang out with us, whether they're here or not. I count on them for listening and all comments, and definitely Mark with comments. Mark Atzenhofer and William Taylor. And will you run back in the studio now? Give the number again.
447-6409.
Oh, you got the giggles like I got the giggles.
Yeah, she got cornbread in her mouth, too.
Cornbread. Since he brought cornbread in, and
I said, any requests for the last show? And I'll just...
yeah, this, for those of you who know, this is going to be our last show. We're going to hiatus.
Hiatus.
And so if you do want to give us a call, don't hesitate, 447-6409. And we're going to be talking about some stuff later on the show, but I want to have these guys hang out with us for the last shot.
Well, I was going to say, while I'm thinking about it, let me go ahead and give you your goodbye present here on the air. I went through the vast William Taylor closet, and for you, we're going to give you a couple of Archie Manning buttons from his senior year at Ole Miss when they were trying to promote him for Heisman Trophy.
What that should be, hold on, we got a call. That should be valuable. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Al, this is Lauren.
Hey, Lauren, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I am doing fine.
Very good. I wanted to call you, Al, and tell you thank you so much for all the help you've given the library while you've been on the air.
You're welcome.
Yes, we really appreciate it, and we're all huddled around the radio today listening to your last show. So...
You're gonna have me go from the giggles to the tears.
Wait, how can you have a radio in the library?
Well, it's actually, we got it in the back where where no one can hear us, so, or hear you guys either.
Which might be a good
I
thing
was
when
gonna
you
say,
think about it.
right,
Okay.
on the grand scale, it's probably a good thing.
But it's really,
Yes, indeed.
it's been a privilege to have you guys on, to be totally honest. And you know how I feel about the library, especially Terrebonne Parish. You guys have served such a great purpose in our community. And just being a part of being able to tell your story has definitely been an honor.
Well, we have really appreciated it, and it's been an honor to be on your radio show. And I want to extend that thank you from Mary LaBeouf, our director, and Amy Whipple, our assistant director, who I know were on your show before I came along and kind of took it over.
That's true. I was wondering what happened to. I thought you had had them in a closet in the library locked up.
No, I tell you what, I didn't tell them how much fun I was having, so they didn't. I didn't fill them in on that. So. But we really appreciate all the help you gave us. You know, I've been doing it for the past, probably 2 years now, because I've been here for 2 years.
Pretty much,
So, at least the past year and a half, almost 2 years now. So thank you so much for that opportunity, Al.
You're welcome, Lauren. You've been fantastic. But stay tuned. We may be having a surprise come up soon.
Oh, very good. I'd love that. And I know Miss Rachel's in there, so tell Miss Rachel hello, and I hope to see her soon.
Miss Lauren is telling you hello, Rachel.
And also, Lauren, when you get the chance, y'all need to eventually get those books by Dr. Morgus to be put in the library as well.
William, I keep telling you, take that up with the acquisitions library.
I just thought people would automatically like to read good books like New Hope for the Dead, you know? So,
Well, yeah, some people. Well, thank you guys so much, and y'all have a good show.
Much love.
All right.
Alrighty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, there you go. It's almost like This Is Your Life.
At least while I'm alive. That's right. Dennis Edwards.
No, Ralph Edwards.
Ralph Edwards.
Is this his brother?
No, Dennis Edwards, I know that name, and I'm drawing a blank right now. There was a Dennis Edwards.
You are drawing a blank on something?
Yeah.
I didn't think that was
I
human.
didn't think that was possible.
Wow.
Man.
No,
Before the show, you figured out, I'm
Dennis
sure.
Edwards is somebody. I apologize.
He's somebody.
Yeah, he played fullback for the Cleveland Browns or something.
In 1943.
Yeah. Well, they didn't join the league till 46.
But these are actual buttons?
Yep, from the Archie senior year. It's not the most famous version, which was Archie for Heisman.
Why didn't he get elected Heisman? Who got it that year? Was it Plunkett?
Jim Plunkett.
Plunkett. He went to the Patriots.
Right, and Archie was drafted second and went to New Orleans. And because remember, the ironic thing about Jim Plunkett, I didn't know we were going to go in this direction, but remember, he sat in anonymous state in the NFL for 9 years with the Patriots in San Francisco, got traded to the Raiders to be a backup, and in 1980 on opening day, remember Kenny Stabler got traded to Houston, the Oakland got Dan Pastorini. Pastorini actually broke his leg on opening day, and Plunkett had to play and winds up taking him to the Super Bowl.
Right.
So...
you never know what faith has got for you.
Right, Kurt Warner, great
That's
example, out of nowhere. Kurt
2
Warner.
Super Bowls.
Right.
2 different teams.
Three. Won one of them on 2 different teams. So,
wow.
but
and he was delivering bread, huh?
yeah, groceries. He was actually the box boy at his local supermarket in Iowa. True story. So. By the way, I'll go ahead and mention it now because I know we may end up getting a bunch of folks later, but I brought that sample tape with me today. Luckily, I dug through the closet, and I thought I had copied this a while back. I edited this down, but it's just over a minute of your first sample interview when you started Houma Live from the Southland Mall. I guess that would have been November of 2000.
Yeah, it's been a while.
All right. So if you got the auxiliary port ready to go, and this is a sample of Al's very first interview on what Houma Live was going to be about, and here we go.
We're going to be starting a brand new program November 1st, Houma Live, broadcasting from the Southland Mall, and we wanted to find out what was the thought pattern in putting this program together.
The thought pattern was that KTIB has a heritage of local service in this community, in this region. And we wanted to make sure that that we extended the coverage to the entire region. And so we're going to do localized coverage as much as we can in parts of the region, and that is why we're doing the live show in Houma.
Excellent. Is there a big draw in the city of Houma right now for KTIB?
I think that there is a big draw for discussion of public issues. I don't know that there's a big draw for KTIB per se, but KTIB has always had recognition in the area, and I think for excellence in the pursuit of community service, and that's what we hope to continue and enhance that tradition with this program.
There you go. The very first words spoken on Al Carter Live some 8.5 years ago.
Wow, that's a good bit of time.
With Mr. Michael Starr, of course, right there. And yeah, hard to believe in the. I guess technically you've had 3 incarnations of the show.
That's right.
In 8.5 years. I've been wanting to use that word for a long time. Dennis Edwards told me about it, but anyway. So yeah, it's hard to believe it's been that long of an incredible run for you. And ironically at 3 different time slots. I think, help me out, Al, when you first started, was it around 5:30 was your first time slot?
I think we went from 5 to 5:30.
Okay.
And then we went in the morning.
Right.
From 8 to 9. And we'll do it Tuesday and Thursdays. And then we came back in the afternoon from 4 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Ironically, we just passed 2 years since you've come back.
That's right, because the first show we started was
February 15th. On Monday.
2007, that's right.
And I was in my car. What happened was we were running late from work, and I only caught the last 10 minutes of your first show because Gene was on earlier to do a little bit of dialogue. And then you had Mardi Gras day off the next day, and then went full force on the following Ash Wednesday, the day after, of course.
That's right. That's right.
So it's been a heck of a run, and not to mention award-winning as well. And this 8.5 years just really flies by.
Tell me about it. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, Al Carter. This is a blast from the past, a reincarnation who was on your show right at Southland Mall, and in the morning and in the afternoon. This is Carol Pierce. How you doing?
Carol, how you? University, Life University.
That's right, the positive lesson of the day in the University of Life. Hi, Mark. Remember when we did that show together?
Oh, yes, ma'am. How are you, sweetie?
I have to tell you, I'm sad to hear that this is going to be the last show for Houma Live this afternoon, but I have to congratulate you on doing so much positive for the region, discussion public issues and providing the best community service possible. I mean, that's what KTIB has always been about in Houma Live and Al Carter. And so thank you for all you have done for the area, though I'm living further north from y'all now. I still hear y'all.
Yeah, the signal goes pretty good. But Carol, thank you, because you've been very much of an inspiration for me since we've been on, and very encouraging at times. And so I appreciate everything you've done for us.
Well, I appreciate all you've done, Al, and all KTIB and has done for me as well. And I just wish you the best because, as you said, we never know what fate has in store for us, but I know whatever it is going to be, it'll be even better than you ever anticipated.
I agree with
I
that.
wish you the best, and I wish everyone back home the best. And Mark, keep things going, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I can do that. I got a big enough mouth.
Thank you, Carol.
So I wish you the best, Al. Okay?
All righty. Thank you,
Yeah,
Carol.
have a good afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Carol.
Bye-bye.
Carol's on once a month. We had her on Live.
Yeah.
Just some guests, just to throw some guests out to you guys. I've had over 200 guests
Wow.
come through. Now, on a monthly basis, we had Dr. Amy Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, the women in Terrebonne Parish, they're having a fundraiser on the, I don't want to say the wrong date. She's supposed to call and remind us. Oh, and I have it March 19th at the Cypress Columns. It's the Women Business Alliance. Their banquet is at 6:30. And she comes on every month as well as Lauren Leday from the library. And then we have the kids from Prevention Partnership. We've had a large number of kids come in, talk about all kinds of good stuff going on with the Prevention Partnership. Some really bright kids. Hold on. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, it's Dr. Amy Rose.
Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Doing fine.
We had some cornbread for you.
Some cornbread, I'm missing it.
You just come. You want us to bring you some to the office?
That would be lovely.
Okay.
It was quite yummy.
We have an ice cream later.
I'm not eating ice cream.
man.
I'm leaving that alone. I'm not doing it. I refuse. I'm making healthy choices for a healthy lifestyle.
Okay, well, I won't bust up into a health lecture right now. Just enjoy what you'll have there at the studio that I'm not able to enjoy. Well, I heard you announcing the Women's Business Alliance Athena Awards.
Yes.
You got the right date. It is March 19th. We've got 7 women that we'll be honoring that night. Mary Lynn Bislin, Carla Thibodeau, Tara Stringer, Dr. Sarah Haydale, Miss Orlinda Williams, Jamie Billiot, and Kay Thibodeau. So one of these ladies, we're honoring all of them. They all do a lot in our community, and that's why they've been nominated. One person will be the recipient, and what they get is a beautiful sculpture, the Athena sculpture. They also get $1,000 donated to the charity of their choice, and another $1,000 to use at their discretion, and that's made possible by our diamond sponsor, who is Barker, GMC, Pontiac, Buick, and then we are still looking for sponsors, so if anyone wants to sponsor this event, we're going to have a silent auction, so you can help out by donating auction items for the silent auction. You can sponsor. We have sponsorships anywhere from $100 to $2,000, and you get a certain amount of tickets based on that. So we would love to have people come and honor these women with us and have a good time.
That way, and if they want some information, what number should they call?
They can call my number at the office. It's 873-8100, and just leave a message if you can't get through at the time. And our website is wbahouma.com. And you can click on Athena. You can click on and see pictures and information from the past 2 Athenas that we hosted, and then get all the information on the sponsorships, the tickets, everything they need to know to be able to participate and enjoy it this year.
That'll work. And I want to thank you, Doc, because it's Dr. Rose is one who set me on the path. I mean, I'm not totally where I need to be, but she's kept me from being where I definitely shouldn't be.
It's a journey, and you're going in the right direction.
Thank you.
Well, I've looked forward to being there every month and talking with you. We've never run out of words.
That's true.
Never. We've gone over plenty of time. But I wish you well, and sorry to hear that it's going to end for you right now, but I look forward to hearing what's in the future and going from there.
That'll work. There's always bright futures ahead for us. You know that.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Doc.
All right, thank you.
All right, again, that number is 873-8100. Also, in addition to that, if you need to get in contact with a lifestyle coach, fitness person, give her a call because she's made a whole difference in my life for sure. Again, 873-8100. Dr. Amy Rhodes, located in the Renaissance Health Club in Houma.
Thank you, Al.
All righty, Doc. Take care now.
God bless.
Same
Bye-bye.
to you. Bye-bye.
She's one that Dr. Amy's always been fun to listen to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's fun to call her in and you know, aggravate her while you pretend like you're eating a double cheeseburger. You know?
She really, I got to the point where I had to start eating healthier and exercising because it was almost embarrassing that every month she'd come on and I was still doing the wrong things.
Right.
So, I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of the guests that I've had that came on the show were people who I thought I needed to give me some direction and some guidance. I said, well, if I need to deal with that, other people need to talk about it. But so her presence was really good to actually control some of the stuff that I was doing that I shouldn't have been doing as far as health-wise.
And when Dr. Rhodes was on, I don't know what she said, but something clicked into my head. Dennis Edwards worked at the Weather Channel in the 80s and early 90s. Dennis Edwards, that's why I remember, that's where the name came from.
You see, and I thought he played fullback for the Browns.
But when you said Dennis Edwards, I thought you were getting Ralph Edwards and Dennis James crossed up.
Who's Dennis James?
Dennis James, the original host of The Price is, not The Price is Right. Well, he hosted The Price is Right at one time. For years, he was the host of the Cerebral Palsy Telethon nationally.
Okay.
And in fact, he helped found the telethon with the two. It was a married couple who had a son that was ill.
Mm-hmm.
And doctors thought that their son was having mental problems. Like, in terms, they actually, before cerebral palsy was diagnosed, CP patients were actually put into mental institutions.
Wow.
Because they didn't know what the condition was. And through the help of Dennis James, they got this telethon started decades ago and raised countless millions of dollars for the continued research into the condition. But, so anyway, I just want to mention when you said Dennis Edwards, I thought you were crossing those two famous TV show hosts up.
You give me too much credit for knowing all that information. Well, you give me too much credit.
Oh well, that's the magic of this, the 8.5 some years of this show, is that because we can talk for so long, we can't expound on things like that. I mean,
that's true.
And the other thing is, like, the day I came up, you asked me to come up on that day's notice, and all we did was go off about game shows.
Yeah, and people enjoy that.
I mean, because you just don't know. Even if you have an outline of what you're going to bring to this show,
very seldom do you stick to it.
Yeah, you just don't know what direction you're going to shoot off.
I had one guest, and I'm not going to say who it is, but they brought an outline. They emailed me an outline and pretty much told me to stay on course so I wouldn't ask them a question that they didn't know. And I told them, I said, there's no way that I have the ability to ask you a question that you don't know. I mean, I'm not that bright. But I think that was the only guest in the whole time that we've been on, because most times people are coming outlines, and before you know it, we all over the place. Now I read upside down. Maybe it's the car salesman in me. So I'm able to at least hit the high points of their outline to make sure that if there's a function coming up, that we mention it. Because a lot of times we go through a whole show, and we'd be like, oh, man, I forgot to announce.
Well, that reminds me of a quick story I learned from Ed Clancy. Do you remember the name Leon Kellner?
The name sounds
For
familiar.
years, he led the orchestra at the Blue Room at the Roosevelt Hotel.
Okay.
Well, he was asked one day, what was the one celebrity you had to work with that you hated? And he actually said on the air, Ethel Merman.
Really?
Here's what happened.
There's no business like show business.
Oh, she was too meticulous.
That was?
Right. And so they were having rehearsal at the Blue Room, and her agent was her husband. His name was Monty. And she looked at Leon Kellner and pointed in his face and said, now, while I'm singing, you look at Monty. And in other words, if Monty pointed his hands up, that meant Leon had to tell the band speed up tempo. If he pointed his hands down, that meant the band had to slow down tempo for whatever song she was singing.
Wow.
Okay? Here's the funny part. The opening night of the Blue Room, and she opened up with her song, You'll Be Swell, You'll Be Great, Gonna Have the Whole World on a Plate. Well, she sings that song, and of course, per her instructions, Leon looks over at Monty, and she's singing, and Monty stares back at him and goes, I don't know. He forgot his own wife's tempo.
He forgot the tempo.
So Leon just had to wing it for the whole show.
That'll work. Yeah, she was a powerful singer, though.
Yeah, she
was. Is the Blue One back open yet?
I'm not. I don't believe the hotel is.
Oh, Fairmont's back open?
Yeah, it's back, but it's back to the Roosevelt.
It's a Roosevelt again.
Yeah, it's owned by an out-of-town
You
firm.
know, one of the famous guests, they'd stay at the Roosevelt all the time?
Wow. Was that Huey Long?
Huey Long.
Okay.
Huey Long used to hang out at the Roosevelt.
Wow.
And he wasn't by himself.
Well, I'll
Was
assume
it
that.
Blaze?
He went there for the.
Oh no, you
Kennedy.
mean Earl Long was going out with Blaze Starr.
Well, Huey was doing it.
Okay, but
He was staying at the hotel.
okay.
And
You just don't know what direction we're going to go in with this show.
some of the guests we've had, just want to throw
Yeah.
these out and comment on them as they come through. With Martha Neal Anthony, who's the pet
Oh yeah.
pet feline coach, and it works. Look, we got our puppy, so we utilize her skills, and we're doing a good job. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Al.
Boy, this is strange. For me to mention your name and for you to call as I mention your name, I didn't call it, I didn't mention it, and then you dialed.
I pressed my button to call KTIB, and as soon as you know, it's like, whoa, this is this is exciting.
You're not the talk show whisperer, are you?
You have now entered
No,
the
no.
radio zone.
But I'm on my way to Harvey to help a little boxer puppy, and heard you guests on the show, and I met all the guests so far that's called in, except for William and Mark.
Really?
Seems like I know them.
Well, if you talk to my ex-wives, you're better off not knowing me. But anyway.
Yeah, you have to talk to my first wife.
Okay.
Well, Al, I just wanted to congratulate you and thank you for all the good and great things you've done with for the community. And I'm just blessed to have met you and to know you and to have met your lovely family. And how is that puppy doing?
Macy Grace is doing fine.
You did not name a dog Macy Grace.
Macy Grace, that's her
Macy.
Oh
name.
my goodness.
She is adorable. I called Martha when we first got her because the dog was just listless, and Rachel was starting to stress because she wanted a puppy she could play with. But I think part of the problem was we had traveled all the way from the other side of Hammond, and the dog was car sick. And so we got home. He had, I guess, strange anxieties and all this kind of stuff. And until I talked to Martha, I didn't realize that dogs dealt with issues similar to what people deal with. And I called up. She said, give me a call back next week if it doesn't change. She said, normally I don't deal with puppies when they first come home, usually after they start having problems. But the next week, Macy started to react with the family, and now she's a part of the family.
Excellent, excellent.
Pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
So
She's what?
Pretty crazy.
She's pretty crazy, just like
It's
the
a
rest of the
golden,
family.
right?
It's a golden.
Yeah, okay.
Now,
They don't
Rachel-
get a brain until they're 5 anyway.
Now, she's like 6 months old. Now, you can imagine the size of a 6-month-old golden retriever. Rachel still carries her.
oh wow.
And the dog has each paw on each side of her face, and she looks around like, okay, I'm supposed to be carried. And I told Rachel, it's fine now, but when she's 60, 65 pounds, it'll be a little bit more difficult to carry this puppy around.
And Macy Grace is going to think she's going to need to be carried. So
Yes.
Rachel, beware if Macy Grace jumps on you and knocks you down.
Well, she's doing that
Say,
now.
carry me, please.
But,
Boomer hasn't stopped, and he's 7 years old,
yeah.
8 years old, and 100 and plus pounds, and he still thinks he's a lap dog.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They don't know how big they are.
No.
Yeah, especially
true.
Goldens.
But we
Well,
appreciate
Al, I
everything
just-
you've done. That's for sure, Martha.
Well, thank you. And I wanted to thank you for your service to the community and all the great guests you've had on in the past, and the great guests you have on today. I hope to meet those guys today.
You know what? And I think one of the exciting things was the opportunity to connect you with the guys and the ladies with autism. That we were able to make that connection. I think that was
That was
awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Made a lot of connections through you, Al. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, you'll have a great show, and I'm kind of running low on signal as far as my car catching KTIB going into Harvey. So I hope I can catch it all the way in.
All right, Martha. Thank you again.
Thank you, Al.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
That was strange.
Wow.
You know,
Was that strange?
Yeah.
that was definitely a Twilight Zone episode coming.
Yeah.
You know, I was waiting for the dude to come up. You know, and so,
Wow. Well, what else we got on the list?
Well, Dr. Glenn Antizzo from Nickel State. I think I had him scheduled. I forgot to call him. I had scheduled for next week. I got to call Glenn. Got with the folks, Courtney Arsenault from CASA. Folks from Bayou Area Habitat for Humanity, we've had them on a number of
that
times.
was fun.
They were like my first guest every time I came back. Because I think it's
Right
important
after
to have
the
them.
storm, and they were on for, like, you had them on like every other week, it seemed like,
just
trying
to
get the
promote
message
stuff.
out and do that. I mean,
That's it. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Al, Bill Crawford here.
Hey, Pastor, how are you, my friend?
Doing good, doing good. Great show today. I'm sorry to hear it's the last.
Well, things happen for reasons, and we kind of, you and I in the faith business.
Well, yes, we are.
it ain't our timing, right, Bill?
That's right.
Well, Bill Crawford, in addition to talk about the church, he also does our movie critique and
The red
fishing.
fish, red fishing.
That's right. We've been out. Took a guy from New Jersey last week out fishing. So,
How'd you do?
well, he caught his first redfish, and I guess that's good enough. He outfished me. Let's put it that way.
Oh,
but it was bad weather, and sure appreciate all the times to come on and share fish stories with you, and the movie reviews too. I'm gonna miss that. I don't have an excuse to watch all those movies now.
No, come on, Bill. The website's still up, so we can put on the Bill Crawford approved list or something. You know.
That's right.
I've kind of taken a Lenten break from the internet, so if people request a movie, I guess I'll still do one, but otherwise I'm taking a breather.
You know what's funny? My daughter came across an old one of those websites that plays all the old TV shows and stuff.
Right.
And we've been watching like McHale's Navy and
I love
Gilligan's
McHale's
Island
Navy.
and stuff like that. You know, just from start to finish, you can watch, 6 or 7 seasons of those shows. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about what you're watching.
Right.
No.
You don't have your hand over the fast forward button the whole time.
You're not gonna have any cuss words jump out or nudity or anything of that nature. That's what things should be.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Well, Al, congratulations on many years,
All right, brother, we appreciate it.
and look forward to seeing what God's going to do next.
That'll work. Down on Green Street, First Presbyterian, 901.
522 Green Street.
How do you get 901? I think
Well, I
that's.
think you're thinking 9 and 11. Well, that's when we have our worship service.
Worship service.
Nah,
9/11.
You've heard me say that about 30 times, I think. So you're putting your numbers in the wrong place. But God bless you, my friend, and I look forward to what God's doing in your life. And just remember out there, God loves you, and we do too. Come and see us.
All right, brother. Thank you, man.
All right, man.
Good
Bye-bye.
talking, Bill.
Andre Badu from Convoy Hope. Damon Bowden, we've had a large number of elected officials come through.
Yeah.
We've had Bobby Jindal on. Bobby Jindal is one of the hardest people I've ever had to interview because he's talks so fast and it's so deep of his conversation. You're like, okay, where do I need to go for that next step on that?
Right.
We've had Congressman Charles Melanson,
Right.
Damon Bowden. We have Jerome D. Richard. We've had Mayor Caillouette on the show. This past couple of weeks, we've had Charlotte Randolph, president of
You had her
LaFouche.
yesterday. Great
And
show
last
yesterday.
week we had the president of Terrebonne Parish, Michelle Claudet. We even had
We
Congressman.
had Reggie. I think Reggie's been on.
We had Reggie Dupre on the show.
Yeah.
We sure had. We had Jim Brown
Yeah.
on the show. A whole list of politicians, elected officials that have come through here, and some really, really good shows.
I can tell you one of my favorite shows had to do with Greg Dumas. And on the phone, you had Mr. Oscar Pope from Domino's.
That's right. Yeah, we did that for Night Out Against Crime.
And what was so funny was, of course, Al was not with the sheriff's office at the time of the interview. And Al had asked Mr. Polk on the air if he, for safety purposes, could follow the Domino's pizza truck around to make sure nobody would mess with the pepperoni and the anchovies.
Like the old Bluebell commercial, huh?
Just make
Eat what
sure
you
things
want and
safe.
deliver the rest.
Eat what you want and deliver the rest.
Remember that?
And we even had
You had most of the council.
Yeah.
You had councilmen from this area. I remember hearing most all of the city of Thibodeau guys.
well, he usually be on Gene's show.
Yeah, but I mean, you've had.
Now we also had we had a congressman from Ohio. The late this member, she died.
That's right.
Stephanie Tubbs Jones from Ohio. She came in to speak in speaking engagement, and we have international guests. Great caller.
Hey, yeah, Johnny Jam on your show too, man.
Oh, brother, look, you the man. Look, you on my list. I tried to call you back and couldn't get through to you, man.
Hey, man. Yeah, you're never gonna sign off, Al. You know, it's not in the cards, man. Everything's temporary.
You know that's true, Johnny.
You know?
That's very true. That's very true. Like I say, you never know what God has in the cards, and his plan is so fluid, and we limited as what we could see. But he's got some overlooking eyes there, brother.
It's temporary, man.
Yep.
Hey, I'm gonna stay in touch with you. I know that, and appreciate if you come up and help me every now and then on Saturday.
Oh, I can do that, brother. You know that.
Yeah, we had some good memories with Dr. John and them too. You know.
Oh man, that was an honor to even be in the room with them guys.
Oh, him and Tab, and he won a Grammy, man. You know.
Yeah.
He won a Grammy for that CD we talked about that he did. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
He just hit. No, we got some great memories, Al. I'm always be there for you. You know that.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate it.
Next time Paula gets pregnant, we'll get more turtle together.
Look, after you got off the phone, Rachel. After we got off the phone the other day, I told Rachel that she had to give you a thank you because if it wasn't for you, she'd be looking like a turtle.
I know. That's what happens when you don't take care of that craving and that RV, you know?
For those of you who don't know, old family superstition is that if a woman has a craving and you don't fulfill a craving, then the baby comes out looking like what the craving is. And Perlette had this envie for some turtle sauce piquant. We couldn't find none. Could not find it. We drove up and down trying to find it. I mentioned it to Johnny. And if you need something, that's go-to, man.
Right.
His mom had made her some turtle sauce piquant. It was excellent. And thanks to Johnny, you don't look like a turtle, Rachel. Tell Mr. Johnny thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome, dog. I tell you what I'm doing, man. I'm going to make one without turtle, but Ralph has got an incredible special on chicken thigh meat.
Ooh.
And, man,
I put some in the gumbo yesterday.
The flavor, oh, look. It's a mock turtle soup. It's not turtle meat, but that chicken thigh meat is so full of flavor. And
Oh, yeah.
that's what I'm going to get down and do a big sauce piquant, put some away.
Well, let me know, brother. That's all you got to do.
We're going to do a tribute to John Fred on the show tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and John was a good friend and had the #1 song in the world in 1968. And he came to Thibodeau Fire Hall of Fame, and he was just a wonderful person. We're going to bring it to life and get people to call in that knew him and, went on American Bandstand a few times. It's Greg's going to come up with me tomorrow, and Greg, we got the last time we recorded him live. He was the last, his last live show that we recorded, and we're going to play it tomorrow. So I'm kind of getting emotional thinking about him, but, that's what Soul in the Bowl is, man.
I know that's right, brother. Food
God
is...
bless you, Al. Look, man, your journey's just beginning, you're halfway, just keep going the right way.
Well, I got you in my corner, brother. Can't help but do the right thing.
Yeah, keep the karma straight, and you got a good road ahead. I'm going to miss you, but you ain't going to fall.
Ain't going to fall, brother. Trust me.
Everything's temporary, man.
That's it.
All right, David.
All right, big brother.
That was a good call. Of course, like I said, John Fred, huge hit, worldwide hit, Judy in the Skies with Glasses.
Oh, okay.
And another hit with a song called Shirley. And, what it was, Al, on the singles chart, John Fred was the first American-based artist to knock the Beatles out of #1.
Wow.
On the singles chart. Dean Martin did it on the album chart. But John Fred, he was from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, had a tremendous pop music career. Stayed in Louisiana most of his life, performed all over the state, including Thibodeau. Oh, John was tremendous. He left us about 4 years ago from illness. In fact, my good friend who was also not with us, Ricky Stockner, from Louisiana Network knew him real well. And that's going to be a very good show tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. for people, because John Fred just had a magic about him that not many pop artists could ever achieve.
Oh, man.
Tremendously.
Johnny has awesome shows, though.
I have to say something before I forget. I don't have this on tape, but this was during your second run. I will never forget, you had, I think, 2 young ladies on your show, I think from high school, that were putting on an original play. And the 2 ladies, the young ladies were going to do a play about some elderly women set in the 1980s. And one of the girls actually told you on the air that they had to do historical research on the 1980s.
Yeah, how do you historical? That's no
And you
history.
just gave that great reply to that. And that just made the show for the rest of the tenure. That was a great moment.
Historical research of the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Yeah, you made everything from the 80s sound like the Paleozoic era or something.
Yeah, the 80s. Come on. I got frustrated because they were talking about the music of the 80s. Like it was like it's the music of the 50s or something. Come on now.
Or the turn of the century.
The turn of the century. Maybe like in the 80s they were playing a minuet.
I was in
Crank the Vitrola.
when I was in the New Orleans area today, and there's a oldies radio station that they have up there, and they were playing Stairway to Heaven. Okay?
What?
So, when the oldies station started playing Stairway,
Yeah, it's...
I guess we're getting old.
I think we're getting old. We're getting old. That's not good. We've had the folks with...
Well, Mark, we play Stairway to Heaven, so I guess it's time to go.
Yeah.
It's old. We're old. We've had different pastors in Jim Duck with John By, Bill Crawford, Dwayne Bland. We have a lot of those folks come over here. We had the Bollingers boys, and Chris came through here. Chris Boudreaux, the director of Homeland Security for
the parish.
For Terrebonne Parish. Brandy Toops was coming on a regular basis to discuss non-credit program and stuff.
That was fun.
That was...
The ghost thing was still a creepy,
Yeah,
but
it's still kind of creepy, though. That ghost at Nichols. I want to do something about the budget. Go ahead, caller.
Oh, it's me.
What'd you say, Brother Doug?
What about some Fats Domino or Little Richard? 1 or 2, it's your choice.
I'm going to take this. This is my last show, Doug, so I'm going to make sure I take care of you.
Okay.
All right, brother.
You gotta count Doug on the list.
I got to cut Doug on the list. He's a regular.
Yeah.
Chris Buckle from Nicholls State with Kai Alpha. And Chris came on, and we've had guests. He brought guests in from around the world, including Nagasaki, Japan.
Wow.
On the website, on the alcardlive.com website, we had hits from Nagasaki downloading the podcast. And we've had people from England download the podcast. So we've had some, we did a live show from when Andrew was on the Biddy basketball team that went to national. So we interviewed the players and Danny Cavell, local attorney. He was on there. I mean, that was exciting to be able to do a live show from Kansas. Buddy Caldwell,
right?
The Attorney General.
You basically got his statewide campaign going.
That's right. He pretty much started over here.
I did not know about him until this show.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I did not know Buddy. Now, ironically, I used to live in Northeast Louisiana. He's from Tensas Parish. I lived in Ouachita. But, no, I never would have known of him if it wasn't for this show.
Wow.
Never would have.
So we got him elected.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that was when he started, because he came on your show, and then I remembered meeting him maybe a night later at some function someplace. But, it's like, hey, I heard you yesterday on our show. And he's like, yeah, it's fun. Hope we got, hope we sounded good. I said, don't worry about it. You like me. You got a face for radio. And,
the Commissioner of Insurance Agriculture now.
Mike
Strand. He was on the show. We've also had so we've had the elected officials on here.
We had both sheriffs. Both DAs. Numerous.
Joe Waits. Who's a regular on the show. Cam's been on the show. Sheriff Weber's been on the show. Sheriff Larpenter and Vernon's been on the show.
Yeah. Our gentleman who was the police officer, Mike was his name. He had gotten dismissed.
Oh yeah, Brother Mike. Yeah, with the new situation.
Yeah,
we did show. We did the show with the 2 guys that got put out of the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, that's right.
The buffet boys.
The buffet brothers.
They tried to go back in.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
They tried to go back in to apologize, but they didn't want to let them back in.
Oh, wow.
I guess they were trying to get,
And
sometimes it wasn't a good idea, but anyway, yeah.
And, of course, in my opinion, what will be the most remembered Al Carter show. From a serious point, the students and MySpace and Facebook.
That's right.
With D.D. White.
D.D. White, yeah.
That will the longest show you probably ever did, and quite eye-opening.
And we had some serious hits to that website for the download for like 2 weeks after that. We had hundreds of people that were listening to that.
However, what I thought could have been the greatest Al Carter show, you actually never did. One day you were on the show, I think, talking to someone. It was when you were on Thursday morning, and you had somebody on from City Sanitation, and it just came out of your mouth that, wouldn't it be really neat if I could do Al Carter live from the back of the garbage truck?
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that one. That was just one of those what ifs, William.
See, I was pushing to do one with Bill Crawford from the kayak, but,
Now, he did it from the kayak.
Yeah, I remember he called in. Yeah,
he called in from the kayak.
Yeah, but do the actual whole show with the redfish pulling you around a pond or something,
There we go.
Bye, Al.
We had Dr. Stanley Coleman, who's director of theater at Nicholls State University. Stanley did this one-man show, and about 3 weeks after that, my boys, we went in Walmart someplace, and they said, "That's that guy that talks to himself." So I'm saying to myself, the guy, and I'm grabbing my kids like, don't go around the guy that talks to himself. That's usually not the kind of guy you want to hang with. So I looked down and I said, he did a one-man show. He wasn't talking to himself. It was a one-man show. So
addressing the audience.
That's right.
We had C.J. Christ.
Yes.
Who's a noted
World War
historian, World War II historian.
Yep.
We've had a lot of physicians come through here. We had Dr. Cardwell, Dr. Cruz, Dr. Mido, Dr. Maria Cruz, a lot of that. We had Brenda Dardar, who's the chief of the Houma
Indian tribe.
Houma Indian tribe.
Yes.
Dr. Dow from Nicholls State University. We've had principals come through. Kevin George from Thibodeau High, Graham Douglas from Terrebonne High School. We had Hunt Downer on, General Hunt Downer.
Yep.
He's in the National Guard. We even
You gotta sit up straight when you say his name.
we had Carla Dortez on. What was that she called him? Ancient Mama or something like that?
No, Buckwheat.
Buckwheat. Yeah, it was pre-Buckwheat.
Pre-Buckwheat.
After that, she didn't call again. That was pretty much it. Father Scott Dugas, who wrote a book, Shadows on Life. We had a few authors come through here.
Yeah.
Well, Carol Pierce wrote a book. We had Father Scott, who wrote a book, and a couple other guys. It's I guess from running to the point I'm running out.
I'm looking at this list of names as you're going through it. I'm like, holy cow! You realize how far-reaching your show has been.
Rob Gorman from Catholic. I'm just shooting through the list.
Yeah, this is not all of the list, ladies and gentlemen. This is
Stacy Gidger from Nicholls State, Patrick Hagan, who came in, Ben Harayan, Greg Harden from the Terrebonne School Board, Onita Harris, the girls from NRPs.
Yeah.
That show always throws me to the brink of censorship.
Right.
And when I was out doing a campaign, Samantha DiMaria, who's guest hosting the show, she had the girls come on, and I gave her a briefing ahead of time, but I didn't go into too much. So I'm on my way to go speak to probably one of the most conservative groups in the area, which is Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, right? Yeah. And I'm riding out there, and I'm listening to the show, and they're getting worse and worse and worse, and I'm saying to myself, please go to break so I can call y'all up, because I can just imagine these folks saying, well, he hosted a show, let's cut a show on and listen to the kind of content he's dealing with.
Oh, wow.
But they are definitely good for a good show. Chief Jacuzo over at
Nicholls State.
Denise Hughes from
Head Start
and Community Services.
I'm sorry, not Head Start, Community Action.
Community Action.
My bad.
We had the folks, Deion Cook and Suzette and the whole group from Head Start.
Head Start there too.
Always pushing that to make sure people. Anthony Jones, a local guy who's an author now, Results by Design. Awesome guy. People from Lady to See, Kim Landry, Heart Association. We also brought in most of the judges.
Yep.
Judge Lanier, Judge LaRose, brought those guys in. Judge Barbera, he was really interesting to talk to.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stories, but when you could sit around and talk to some of those guys.
Yeah, we were kind of on the break with a couple of them.
I don't want to forget about Cornell Martin and his son, who's on WTBS.
That's right.
We had some actors. We had Cornell Martin's son on here. We also had, we were talking about Willis. We had Willis from...
Todd Bridges.
Todd Bridges.
That's right.
So we've had our share of The biggies and the mediums. We have no littleies.
And then there's the little ones like me. You know, little bitty ones.
You're never a little one.
Well, that's because I'm a fat guy.
Brenda Powell, who is the owner of James Academy, who's also a gold medalist. She was on the show. We had Gene Mills, who is the president of Louisiana Family Forum. We also had, and forgive me for I can't think of his name, he's the president of the National Center of Fatherhood. We had him on Father's Day. Sidney Ordon from Louisiana Social Services, Adoptive and Foster Care. Look, go to the website. They're doing some awesome things on that, so go to the website and check them out.
Yeah, that was great. Those were when they're on talking about fostering and adoption. That's always it's a great show because there's so much information that they were putting out, but just for some of the success stories and things like that.
Oh yeah.
It's just, you know.
Also, I liked when Monica Pierre came by to talk to you.
Awesome, yeah. That was a great show. That's one of my favorite podcast shows.
Wow.
We had Matt Trehan from the Louisiana State Police. And I tell you what, everybody who comes on as a representative of the state police gets winded within a year or so, gets promoted.
Wow.
So Dar came on the other day. I said, brother, it's a matter of time. Warren Triss, former state representative. Warren was on the show one time, and the only thing about Warren was, for those of you who don't know Warren Triss, Warren has no hesitation of speaking his mind.
I know. I like that guy.
One of our sponsors at the time was the New Orleans Saints. And before I could kind of tone him down a slight bit, he started talking about his opinion of providing money for the Saints and his opinion of Tom Benson.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I'm sure at this point we probably won't have that sponsor, but needless to say, they didn't. But Warren would throw out. One of my special definitely guests was Reverend Lloyd Wallace, the late Pastor Lloyd Wallace.
Yes.
Great guy.
You know, so and that, like I said, that's just a sampling of the people we've had over the past few years. We had Martha Woods, who's a deputy who was killed. We had Martha Woods. She brought some kids one time to the show. So that's just like a slight taste of what we provided. But let me tell you, folks, the site is still live, www.alcarterlive.com. So we invite you definitely to keep going to the website and check us out. We will probably be doing internet radio.
All right.
We've been looking into that, and
which you actually once have experience with, thanks to our friend Jeff Michaels.
That's right.
Back
So
in
we'll probably be doing that. We could have William come on and do a sports show, a special sports show, and and Mark will come on and talk about real conservative values as well as family values and all that kind of good
One
stuff.
and the same.
Wow.
They are one and the same.
But also, I want to throw out at my website, KTIBmemories.com, we have my second most favorite Al moment of all time from Mardi Gras Day 2005 with you, Jason Lee, and Randall. And
it got out of hand.
Ricky Gopher was on this segment along with who was the voodoo lady? Sister something. I forget her list. Agatha.
That's
and
right.
That was a great moment in radio for me. Ironically, I was sick that day. That's why I was recording it at the house and not here. So it was completely by accident. I was by the recorder.
So thank you guys for being. Any closing thoughts before we go?
Well, just I guess a quick note. Rain possible after midnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Cold front, much colder weekend. A tenth to a quarter inch of rain possible from late tonight through Saturday morning. And Al, I'll tell you what, it's been a wonderful ride. I'm glad me and Al were neighbors at one time.
That's right.
Well, and so this is, I guess, not a sad end, but a new beginning.
That's it, brother.
For every adventure that comes to us day by day. And I guess I should close like I've closed before. Good night, Chet. Good night, David.
Mark?
No, Al, you know, I think that your show and what you've done in the community outside of your show has been phenomenal. And you know, just you look at the list of guests and the folks that called in. I'm sure that there's a lot more that had they known this was the I don't know if you want to call it the period, but you know, the end of this chapter, so to speak. We could probably stay here till midnight with folks calling and telling how
no problem, no doubt.
You know how much fun that they've had. It's always been a great pleasure to be on your show. You know, I know that not too many folks really want to put up with some of the things that I say, but you always
some of the things you say, Mark.
But you know, it really is. It's been a pleasure. Because I mean, look, for not the show when we were running for office 5-6 years ago.
That's right.
You and I wouldn't have met. We wouldn't be friends today. And you know, I put our friendship up with with one of the greatest things that's happened since we moved here, because it is, your family's great and they stay in the community, y'all stay in the community, but it's a great family to be around. So you're a great example for everybody, and I'm glad that we got to know you. I'm sad that this is the end of chapter 3. Is that right, William?
Third edition.
So, but we'll see where chapter 4 goes, and hopefully, we can still be part of your chapter 4, because I know it's been a lot of fun.
In a sense, it's a book that never ends.
Absolutely.
Chapter 1.
It is a book that never ends. Was that the song that never ends?
That was a song. The Never Ending Story was a movie.
That was a movie. Okay. Now, I do have to have a special thanks to Carol Lorette. And Carol's a young lady who nominated us for the Governor's Award, the Media Award, and because of the things that we do for the disabled community. And I want to thank her. She called the other day, and she was kind of frustrated about it. But like I said, this is the beginning of something else. So
absolutely.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for listening and calling. Many times they would call, and you guys would call. I wouldn't have a guest. Right. And you catch me, and I appreciate that.
Well, luckily, that's why it always pays the monitor.
That's it. Thank you again. Folks, I tell you what, and definitely I want to thank you guys out there for listening. We hope we've been informative, and I know we've been entertaining. If you got an idea for a show topic or a guest, give Gina a call in the morning. Give him a call in the morning, and you just let him know about it. But the website is still active, www.alcarterlive.com. You can check out podcasts. You can check out what we're doing, what we're going to be doing. And like I said, it's never end. Like Johnny says, it ain't over, baby. It ain't over. You have a great weekend, a great month, a great year, a great life. May God bless America, but more than that, America, you must always remember to bless God. It's your life. You might as well enjoy the journey. We'll see you someday on Al Carter Live on AM 640 KTIB. Love you much.